St. Louis.
Where do we start?
This is a really strange time right now.
None of us have experienced this before.
I'm constantly checking my phone.
Looking at social media.
Trying to get more information.
But there are very few answers.
The uncertainty can be scary.
But one thing you should always remember,
We are all in this.
We're all in this together.
Enjoy the extra time with those around you.
Go for a walk. Sit down together for dinner.
Spend some time on yourself.
But most importantly,
be responsible.
be responsible.
And please, take care of each other.
To our healthcare community on the front lines,
We appreciate you.
And we're following the guidelines.
To stay safe.
To get through this.
To come out stronger.
Remember, you are not alone.
We will get through this
Together.
We love you, St. Louis.
Hello, Gators Nation, and welcome to our second episode of GBA TV, brought to you by our good friends at GatorsBaseballAcademy.com. To learn more about the Gators Baseball Academy, you can go to the website there, check out the four-pillar system. Remember, for us, it's about people. I don't think most organizations would tell you that their main goal is probably to put the right people in front of your kids, and that's what we strive to do here as well. And we hope that the people that are involved in our organization are enjoying that, and we hope that there's people out there that are looking for that, and we're happy to oblige. There's great organizations out there, and we think we're right up there with them. So welcome again to another week. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Brewski's Smokehouse and Music, restaurant and bar in O'Fallon, Missouri. Not much music going on right now unless they're listening to the jukebox, Jake, while they're working, cooking up some food to go. But one of the local small businesses that is currently offering non-contact curbside service. They do daily specials. Give them a call, 636-329-0027. This is that time where we remind everyone that these are the types of places that support your community, local dollars that stay in the area, and they need your help right now more than ever. So make sure you check out our friends at Brewski's Smokehouse and Music. Well, this week on the show, first off, let me thank everybody that tuned in last week. It was a big success for us, I know, as an organization, to be able to communicate with that many people, share some information, have a little fun while we were doing it. I thought people enjoyed the show. I know the kids really did as well. Thank the Cardinals for putting out that COVID-19 message to remind us all to stay home right now, and hopefully we can get through this and be playing baseball here real soon. So on the screen here, you'll notice this gentleman to my left, although you can't tell on the screen, but he is to my left. So let's welcome in for Gators Nation. Needs no introduction, but it is our high school director and developer of the Hit Lab, Jake DePew. What's going on?
Hey, Jim. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here, man.
Yeah, you look excited to be here. I'll tell you that.
Always.
Always. And on the line, everybody's favorite St. Louis University head coach and local boy done good, I like to say sometimes. He's been on a lot of these shows with me in some capacity or another, but a guy that I'm proud to call a friend. He's made a name for himself throughout the country when it comes to baseball. He does a tremendous job, and it is nice to have people with local roots that are doing a lot of great things, both professionally and personally in the game of baseball. Let's welcome in Darin Hendrickson. Darin, how are you?
Great. How are you guys doing tonight?
Well, we are in studio. We are 6 feet apart. If you can't tell, but I know we tried to get you in here, but you weren't having it. I know you had you got to keep it clean. Keep it clean.
I'm abiding by social distancing rules.
As everybody should, right? So good stuff. But hey, I want to thank you for being on. I when you have an opportunity to have guys like Jake on here, I know some people are going to be interested to hear what he has to say, especially from a training aspect. He's got a great story himself in the game of baseball. And then for you, I know the fans, when we had announced out that you were going to be on, they were really excited about maybe hearing some perspective from you as a college coach about, maybe not the transition, but maybe how all of this stuff that we're doing somehow, some way translates into the eventual hope that a kid that A, has passion, A, has grades, A, has skill, it transitions into a college game. So I think some people will be really excited to hear that from you.
Ready to go tonight.
All right, so we're going to do a little bit of background, which I love to get some background here. Before we do, though, we're going to ask everybody to make sure, if you have not already, that if you're watching this, obviously, on the Gators Baseball Academy Facebook page. We're going to make sure that you've liked that page and are following it. If you have not, please do so. You can also click invite your friends. Share this post right now. If you have not done so, please share this. This is how we reach more people and bring them into our community. So if you have not done that, please share this. Make sure you've liked it. And if you throw a comment on it, it would really help us. It just makes the post more relevant. That's how Facebook works. And we want to reach as many young baseball players, older baseball players out there. You don't have to be a Gator to enjoy this show. As far as we're concerned, we're all baseball players. We love the game, and we just want to help. So if you haven't done that, please do so. You can also find us on Twitter at GatorsBA, Instagram, Gators Baseball Academy as well. And as I mentioned earlier, GatorsBaseballAcademy.com is where you can learn more about us. So let's start with the guy to my left, Jake DePew. You've been with the Gators for, a few years. I feel like Slapshot. You've been in the league how long? Quite a few years, Jim, but for all those people out there that have watched Slapshot. But you've been doing this for a long time. Baseball is pretty much all you've known. Give our listeners a little bit of your background in baseball.
Yeah, so, pretty much played my whole life. Grew up around the game. My dad was a player. I truly found my passion for baseball as a sophomore in high school. Ended up signing a scholarship to the University of Louisville as a junior in high school, and then graduated from Granite City High School in 2010 and was drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays in the 9th round. Decided to forego my scholarship and play professional baseball, and ended up playing 8 years between the Rays and the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, so you've got to listen. You do a great job. You got a great temperament for a young guy. I tell people all the time, like, you're mature beyond your years when it comes out. It really freaks me out when I watch you. But the gentleman on the line here now has a pretty solid resume. And I found out something about you two guys today. So you were Darin. True or false? Jake was the ring bearer in your wedding. Is this true?
That is a true statement. Yes. Yes.
Ring bearer in your wedding. So, Darin, for our listeners out there that don't know you, although I don't know who the heck doesn't know you, give us your background kind of in baseball.
Yeah, no, I'm from Granite City too, Jim, and great baseball town. And like Jake said, I played with Jake's dad and went on and played at SIU. And after 2 years of junior college at Lewis and Clark, and then I was I've been a college coach at 4 different levels, so I really think I could bring some perspective to having been in the trenches at each of those levels. Started at Division III at Fontbonne. I started the program from scratch, and then went to JUCO at Forest Park, and then moved my way down the road to Central Missouri State for 4 years at each stop, and then I've been at St. Louis U now for this was my 13th, heading into my 13th. So we've it's been a good run, and it's been a lot of fun, and I've learned a lot at each level, and I'm glad I did that. Looking back, it's been a very helpful experience to help parents, and as a parent of 2 boys, I get it right now from that angle for sure.
Well, that's one of the things I know our listeners and followers here. I keep forgetting we're live. We're not on just a podcast. You have to forgive me for that, listeners. But I think one of the things for sure that our parents are going to enjoy, and the kids too, coaches as well, is that you're not just some coach that, is out of touch and, your kids didn't play, or they just, they didn't play at that level, or they didn't play baseball, or you didn't have any boy, whatever the case may be. But you've got 2 boys knee deep in this thing, both in college and now just starting his high school. So you really will be able to offer some perspective from that point, from a father. And let's face it, when it comes to youth baseball, there's a whole lot of us out there that, as parents, are searching every day for answers to questions that I don't really even know if we have them, but it just sure seems like we should have them.
Well, I think so. I mean, I'd like to see the game get fun again for the kids, first and foremost. I know I had a lot of fun playing it growing up. All my friends did, teammates. We had good rivalries. It was fun, and I don't know. It's hard. It's getting harder by the day to put the team back into it. Of baseball as well. It's a lot about, where do I get mine? How do I get my scholarship? Where does this, come from me? And so we try to, we have a tough job as college coaches, and now they're talking about changing some rules with transferring and allowing kids more freedom, which has got pluses and minuses too. So a lot going on in the game right now and in the world. It's a reflection of society too. So we're battling that constantly, but a great profession, it's a great job, and it's certainly a great game. So we love baseball.
Yeah, one of the things, I've had the opportunity to talk to you about this numerous times, and one of the things that you mentioned quite a bit is, in your opinion, we as parents, I think you've even thrown yourself in there to some degree at times, we might stand over these kids too much, maybe a little too much organization. You have been a big advocate for unorganized practices, unorganized games. Just take the kids out there and let them play. How do we get back to that?
Well, that's not to say that you don't teach them and train them. I mean, I'm going to be careful about that. That's not really what I was about at all. I just meant like, I feel like from a college standpoint, when we get to see kids, recruiting videos come to us constantly on a daily basis. I mean, you can't imagine. Of course, everyone, that's what they do now, and especially during times of shutdown like we're in now. So the videos have really amped up, and you see a lot of front toss and then a lot of drop back shoulders and just trying to launch the ball. I'm just giving you a for instance. Okay, it doesn't say right or wrong. I'm just telling you what we see on a lot of a regular basis. So it's stuff like that gets floated around, and then you start seeing what becomes habits and robots and things like that. So I'm not saying kids don't need to be taught at all. I mean, I think the coaching and the knowledge is by far the most superior it's ever been in this game. I think people make it a little complicated on some kids, for sure. And I think kids get confused, and then they get to a point where they may not really enjoy the game. I mean, baseball's a hard game to enjoy. It's 3 hours long. The weather's kind of tough. If you're in high school or college or little league, it's either hot or it's cold, and it's really not an ideal sport. We all coach the wrong sport. We should have coached basketball in a climate-controlled setting, but it's a different deal out there. So you got to really keep it fun for the guys. And we're playing at Division I baseball at the highest level of college, and I try to, we still try to have fun. I mean, I want to go out there. I don't want to be miserable. So if I'm miserable, my team's going to be miserable, and our coaches are miserable, and we don't need to do that. So I have to lead the way, and I've been guilty of it for times of just getting frustrated with, things out of my control. And I think this crisis has helped us put some things back in perspective. But my big thing with kids is just, I sat through Little League games here for the last, I don't know how many, 8-10 years, and between both my boys, and I could just see the tension everywhere. And I don't remember that as a player. Like, I don't remember it being tense. Maybe I wasn't because I was on the field playing, but I don't remember the stands being so tense. I remember the parents being so worked up and hovering and all those things that we are watching. So not to get off and preach on that, but I know the kids feel that, and I hate to see them do that. So that's my big takeaway from how do we make the game fun again. I'm just a big believer that the game can get a little overboard if we're not careful. And but the training piece has got to be there. I mean, you got to get better. I mean, we've got a lot of guys. Our whole program is premised on player development. Like, we're not getting 5-star guys. We're not getting Jake DePew's drafts out of high school to come into our program. So we've got to develop players. We've got to get them better. So the player development and the training piece is huge. So I don't want to get away from that. I just, like I said, playing 3 games in one day, all that stuff that's kind of silliness for the tournaments. That's the kind of stuff I guess I was referring to.
Yeah, I want to be careful there and say, after you said that, I hope nobody took it that way, as you were like, oh, this is all crazy. It wasn't that. It was really more what I always took from you was, listen, I think most people that know you would say you were a pretty competitive dude. Like, when you played, I know a lot of people that played against you that I know now that are mutual friends, and they'll be like, yeah, that dude was a competitor. Lots of guys, competitors, no doubt about it. But I think there's a fine line between losing our minds out there, obviously, which I think at times we probably all have, right, to some degree. That being said, there's a fine line somewhere, and we all walk it. How do we stay on the right side of that line? I think that's ultimately what we're all looking for. Jake, he mentioned that time change and how things go. Darin and I have talked before that at our age, and we're showing our age a little bit here, but, when we played, there wasn't some of this stuff, right? It's really all you've known, correct? This style of baseball, so to speak, except for when you were probably really little, like playing on a team that traveled a little bit, played a little bit higher level competition teams instead of just playing in your local little league.
Yeah, I mean, this is, the same kind of atmosphere that I grew up in, in high school. I played the travel scene and, went around the country and played in different tournaments and, did all the showcases. And, so it's something I've lived. And, to speak to kind of what Darin said as well, I never let the pressure get to me. I always tried to enjoy, the process of what it was. And whatever came out of it, it was what it was. Obviously baseball is what I wanted to do, for a living. I'm fortunate enough still to this day that I haven't had a job outside of baseball. So, obviously that's what I wanted to do. But, if it didn't happen, it didn't happen, and, I would be fine. So, I had a dad that grew up in baseball, and he was my coach my entire life, and he never put too much pressure on me, and always preached to enjoy the game.
Enjoy the game, and I think that's where I was going, Darin. That's the for lack of a better description, I mean, how many times do we talk about enjoying the game? Or, are we always talking about velocity and launch angle and do this and do that and you got to be this and you got to be that? I mean, there has to be some enjoyment here, because at the end of the day, it's going to be really hard to be really good at something that you don't enjoy.
Well, that's my big thing. I mean, I wish, and you can't just get on a soapbox and say, well, the game's changed and this isn't what I like or do like or like. If you're gonna complain about it, you need to have a solution. So that's what rack my brain a lot of nights, talk to a lot of smart people that are really knee deep in youth baseball and growing up through high school baseball, club baseball, travel baseball, and have tried to get because I am a fixer. Like I really would like to help the game out. I think you leave your legacy on the game by doing something like that, and you provide something for the next generation who helped me. I mean, I used to listen to the way I got really good at baseball is I listened to a lot of older guys that were better than me, and they taught me a lot. And I watched TV and I listened closely to really good analysts. And then when I would go down to the Cardinals and throw batting practice, this is my 25th year doing that. I've always asked questions and paid attention, and that's how I got better. Because I didn't have some of the technology now, of course, but now the game has changed and we're into it all. And, I think you have to watch guys too as they gravitate towards baseball, and what do they like about it? Like, do they like the so-called grind? Do they like the workouts and all the stuff? Because really, if you think about it, we train a long time in this game and we get to play, 3 months. I mean, your fall ball, of course, is your season in college baseball, but high school baseball is even less. You train a long time. A lot of kids still play multi-sports, I know, but not maybe as many as used to. So those people train a long time, and their reward is in high school. It's 2.5 months, maybe, 2 months for all that time. Think about that. That hit me the other day that we go all this year-round deal, and in college we get shut down on March 12th or 13th, whatever it was, and we got to wait a whole nother virtually calendar year to get it going again. That's a long time. That's a long time to keep people engaged and keep them rolling. And I don't know if there's a lot of people mentally that can handle that, and so that's a big thing for me too. I just think that, you really got to like it, because it's a lot of work for, it's not like where you can just pick up a basketball and go out there every day year round pretty much and play. Baseball, you're only playing for a couple months.
Yeah, it's when you have an opportunity to work with kids, and it's got to be more than just mechanics and fundamentals. It's got to be about building a relationship with them, helping them become good. We want young men to become good, or we want younger men to become better young men, and then young men to become great young adults. Same thing with the ladies in our program. We've got some softballers now that are in the building, and those girls work hard too, just like everybody else, and we're proud to have them in the building. But you're right. So you do have this opportunity to make a difference with kids, but you do also with baseball. And when you're trying, and speaking of listening and trying to get better, I'm going to tell you a good Darin story, Jake. So Darin and I, both our older boys, Reed and Tyler, played together, and I think they were like 9 years old. And I'll never forget. I was talking to Darin, and I had decided I really wanted to get involved in this, right? And I knew that I knew I was the dumbest guy in the room, and I wanted to get smarter. And I thought, well, Darin is really good at what he does, so I would pick his brain a lot. And he and I were talking one day about something, and I said, well, hey, I remember him going, well, I don't know, I'm gonna look into it. And I said, okay, because I think a lot of it was like pitching and stuff like that. Are we doing this right, or are we hurting these kids, whatever? He come back, and I said, well, how was it? He goes, well, I was like, hey, I talked to so-and-so, and he told me, and he goes, yeah, well, I was talking to Tony La Russa and Jose Oquendo, and let me tell you what they told me their thoughts were on this. And I was like, I'm in a whole nother ball game here. I need to. So it is awful nice to have somebody like Darin who has those types of connections. But, Darin, I think I know you've always been really passionate about the youth. And I know, like, from when all that started, you went through it with Reed and then Andrew. And every time I would see you, it would seem like, you'd be like, man, I saw this or I saw that, and you're a passionate guy. And I know you've always wanted to try to help those young kids. And I know pitching, without a question, has been your thing for these young kids, taking care of these young arms. What would be the one piece of advice that you would give all of our young coaches that are coaching these young kids and all the trainers and anybody that's listening? Best piece of advice you could give them when it comes to trying to keep these kids' arms safe?
Geez, that's a whole segment question there.
Well, you got 30 seconds, so I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
put me on the spot. My gosh, I don't know, Jim. I would say that just some of the really basic ABCs of it all. I would just watch a kid throw naturally and not say anything for a session or two, and literally just watch how his body moves naturally. Depending on the age group, I'm assuming we're talking about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 was when they really start going, and then watch how his body moves, and then make your adjustments accordingly. I think too many of us make this difficult and on the young player whose body maybe isn't quite ready to do some of the things that we see. Even though we might watch film and we may break down their stuff and we may see flaws, they literally just can't change it in some cases. I mean, at the older level now, when it gets to the, what I'm saying. So I think the young guys, I would just observe. I wouldn't say a whole lot. It really bothers me when I see recruiting videos, or I've seen it with my own eyes plenty of times when I go to an indoor spot and I see the pitching person, the guy throw a pitch and then he turns around and goes, and he's looking for feedback on every pitch. Okay, so the bullpen takes, 50 minutes where it should have taken 20. And the kid is literally not learning to move and think for himself and make pitches, because ultimately at the end of the day, it's about making pitches. Now, how do you get there? Of course, you have to have velocity. Of course, you have to have something as an out pitch. When you get to a high level, you need an out pitch. A lot of kids don't develop spin until late, naturally. So, I don't want to see the best 9-year-old curveball. Like, that doesn't do anything for me. And I say that kind of tongue in cheek, but I don't. But I think if you let them just kind of have a little freedom, and just go, okay, what are you doing here? Instead of being so rigid with drills and so rigid with, maybe their bodies don't move like the guy next to them. I've got a staff of 15, and our pitching guy does a wonderful job keeping them kind of who they are, as far as each guy doesn't throw like the other guy. So I think if you try to peak cutter all your guys, you're looking at, now the Astros would probably disagree with me since they had all right-handed bullpen last year and everybody had a high spin rate and all that. I'm not saying that. I'm kind of joking on that one too. But, we've got a lot of different guys at our type of team, and I think that it's good for developing a young guy. I would say, teach him basic mechanics, understanding of his body, and really how to be athletic on the mound. He should be another guy out that's an athlete and not robotic and not looking into the dugout and not needing approval. Boy, there's a lot of that goes on too. And, everybody wants, whether you call pitches or don't call pitches, I don't know. I don't know the best way to say it. I call the pitches at our school, and so there's a lot of pros and cons. I don't have any problem with all that. I don't know that, if you're calling pitches for an 11-year-old, what does he throw? What's in his arsenal? So
what finger do you put down for a strike?
Well, no, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Some of the games, and this is not cynical or shots or anything like that at all, guys. This is really just trying to kind of get back to some basics, along with now advanced knowledge, advanced training, really smart coaches, and really this is a key too. We have really good facilities now that we didn't have, where we're able to get better. That's
Right.
the key too. I don't think people realize that. The old days, you wanted to throw a bullpen, you had to go, grab your buddy or your neighbor or get a young Jake DePew out there and say, let's go to the, jump the fence at the high school because it's all locked up, things like that. Now we have good facilities, we have good teachers, we have a ton of information. I think some people try to get too tricky with it and too cute. It's a long answer to a tough question, but I just, if you hired me to be your pitching guy right now and I would just watch your kid on the first time. I'm not going to go change somebody on their first day out there for sure. Watch them move, maybe make a few little subtleties, and then just try to keep them ramped up and growing. I mean, if you watch the young guys in the MLB right now, they're on a fast track to the big leagues. If you're really good, you're not going to be in the minor leagues very long. So you're learning on the job constantly. And those guys are figuring out their bodies. They're figuring out how they move, what they do best, and how to repeat pitches. And like I said, you have to have an out pitch. Strikeouts are everything now, and you have to have an out pitch. You can't just go up there like the old days and throw all Dave Duncan sinkers and let the Cardinals' great defense gobble it up. It's just the game's not like that anymore, and that's certainly something that's changed. So that's my 2 cents on a really tough, long-winded question.
Jake talked earlier about, and then you obviously went through it too, but Jake was talking earlier about, this is what he's known, right? Like the travel baseball scene, and he did the things that needed to be done, and he was eventually recruited and signed with Louisville. Now, they're obviously what I would call a perennial power within the game of baseball. You've got a very quality Division I program, and you hear from people all the time, D1, D1, D1. I got to go D1. Well, I think that's a testament to obviously the baseball level there, but if you want to be a D1 player, Darin, what do you need to be able to do? Like what separates a kid? Like when you go look at him and these kids are all out here and they want to play at that everybody wants to play at that level, right? But what does it take? What do you need to do and what do you need to have?
Well, the obvious are the physical skills, the tools of, hit, run, throw, but you throw all that out. There's a lot of guys that have that. For me, they got to have desire. That's a thing that nobody talks about, and I just don't know if people really understand what a Division I baseball game really truly looks like on a day in day out basis. And I'm not talking about a SLU game or any of that. I'm talking about just the elite level of Division I. Like when you ask kids to write down their 5 schools that they think they're going to go to, and they write down Arizona State and LSU, and they just don't know. It's not their fault. It's no problem. I probably did the exact same thing 100 times back when my coaches asked me that. So it's all fun, but I mean, when you watch their BP up close, when you watch, for instance, this year we went down and played Vanderbilt, and it's a whole different deal down there. It's just a whole different deal. The way they prepare, the way their staff, their personnel, and the way they got their team ready. And then you put that in there with some of the most competitive athletic dudes on the planet. You just have an elite group that's just second to none. And I'm not here to say, but my point of that story is like the desire is just huge. I mean, I've had a lot of really good players, but I don't know if they truly love the game, like a Jake DePew does and like we do. And there's a lot of guys that really do like baseball. I don't mean it that way, but I'm saying you got to really love it. And Jake spent a long time in the minor leagues, and he gets it, and that's loving the game. I mean, that's a long time to chase your dream, and hats off to that whole deal. I think of a guy like Mike Schilt too. That and that comes into play like with desire. He was look at his storyline. That's to tell you all. If you think you love the game, look at Mike Schilt's bio. And now he's a major league manager, and was in the NLCS last year. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. It's just you almost have to just say this is my life and this is what I'm going to do. But you got to be able to, depending on where you're at. I would say watch an in and out. Watch an in and out at a Division I game. Watch a bullpen before the game starts, and then go back and sit behind the stands for a couple innings. And it should hit you in the face right away, I think. because there's nothing that we can tell you in a recruiting visit or anywhere else that will convince you and let you understand what this is all about faster than that will. I think when you watch our guys, throw, hit, take BP, you're going to see just a differently prepared kid. I think their age helps. Their strength is vital in today's game, of course. And then, you have to be smart and athletic and be able to, have a real cerebral approach to this game. Like Jake said, he never let the pressure get to him. And, I'm still fighting that at age 50. Like you said, a competitor, you better be a competitor or else you're going to get eaten up too. So there's a lot that goes into it. And it's not just about the tweeting and, hey, I'm committed and I'm humbled to go here and this and that and all those tweets that we see. That's just the start of it all. It's the work that you got to put in after that. So there's a lot of good high school players that don't get any better because they quit working. And then there's a lot of other guys that plateau later. And that's what we try to find is the guy that we get the best 4 years out of their career. And so we're looking for guys with upside. You'll hear that word a lot, right? You'll hear things like that that'll come into play. So it's pretty complex, but I think desire is my biggest thing, man. I find right now that some kids just come in and they just truly, you got to work and you got to work at it really hard.
I got, before you go, I got to ask you. So, obviously you're fortunate enough to coach at a quality institution. Let's face it, academically, SLU right there. You've really come in and made that a very competitive program. I mean, you've done a great job. I know you won't toot your own horn, but you've had some really, really good seasons there. You get a little, we've talked about it, you get a different kind of athlete there. One that is really heavy on the grades, of course. But there's a lot of kids out there, and this is what I'm looking for from you here before you go. I want some kids to hear this, and I'm hoping a lot of our high school kids are listening to this, but I know a lot of our younger kids that love the game are hearing this. Everybody wants to go D1. Got to go D1. I got to go D1. I'm worried about the name that's across the front of my chest. I mean, I think 25,000 kids get to play college baseball. I don't think there's a poor place for you to play, is there? I mean, that kid that's going to play JUCO or that kid that's going to play D3, D2, NAI, whatever it is. I always say be blessed, be thankful that somebody wants you to play baseball and you get to continue to play. What would be your message for those kids that think, if I'm not playing D1, then it ain't worth it or it's not very good? What would be your message for those kids?
Well, I would say that I would just use the analogy when I was at Central Missouri, and this is not a secret. When that program was good long before I ever got there, my gosh, it was a powerhouse. They were funded so well. They had a great following, a great tradition. So you were given the keys to a Cadillac and just not screw it up. And I used that because that program would have beaten the heck out of 150 Division I programs for several years. And no disrespect to anyone, including SLU. We would have smashed SLU back in the day. And the point of that story is that it isn't about the level. If you look at it all in the big picture, for me, it's about 4 years. And it goes by so fast if you don't find the right fit. And in today's world, for you not finding the right fit, it can be a little tough because you got more information than ever as a parent and as a player. Your coaches are more informed. Your club teams are more informed than ever. They know that, you can look online and see how many catchers I have right now. You can look how many lineups, how many pitchers I have. In other words, the old days you just kind of took off and you went to the school you thought, and that was it. And there wasn't much more to it. Now you can look at everyone's roster, everyone's stats, everyone's videos, and on and on and on. And I just think if you find your right path, and some people start on a slower path, man. Junior college is a good route. I think junior college baseball is going to make a comeback, and with all this crisis happening and the new transfer rules that are about to hit, I think it could catch a wave of coming back. People get a negative stigma because of the academic piece. Yeah. I do think it's not a bad route, though. It's necessary. It certainly helped me as a player tremendously because I didn't grow until sophomore year of college is when I really sort of made a major jump. I gained 4 miles an hour in velo just in 1 year. Now, the point of that story is not that who cares what I did. I'm just saying that that is a pretty impressive jump for back in the day where, there were no arm care programs or weighted balls or any velo programs. It was just strictly, I just grew. I just happened to grow. So my advice is to get on your path and do your research, do your homework, ask tough questions of the coaches when you're out there. I think you need to really, get down there. How many do you carry? Do you oversign? All those kinds of things need to be asked because, look, all of us coaches, we have a job to do. That's how we feed our families. And really the other piece too is we are all in this, deal as coaches. Like you're good because you recruit good. You have good assistant coaches who develop your players. And then your job is just to sort of manage it and maybe put a little more heat here and then take off a little the gas over here. But I've had some really good assistant coaches, guys, and those guys do a great job of getting guys ready and putting us in a position to succeed. So I think you need to look at if you're looking for a school, you look at where do players get better, and that's one of the beauties at our place. Like we've had, a lot of pitchers drafted and none of them were drafted before. And those are the kinds of things that I look at and I go, wow, that means we're doing something right with our development. And then I also look at like our hitters, like we've had some guys, because hitting's really hard. I mean, hitting is really hard now. Pitchers are getting so much better, velo's better. And I think guys that are getting drafted there, that weren't drafted before, that made themselves into good hitters. And I think of like Paul DeYoungs of the world, Illinois State guy, kind of, took off late and then bang, he's a big league shortstop and all-star. And so there's always hope. And you don't, it's not where you start. It's not about tweeting where you sign. That doesn't mean anything. That is literally just the start of it. I know it feels good for a minute. It gives you a dopamine rush for about 2 days, and then that tweet wears off. And it's time to go to work. So that's my real life 2020 answer. But I mean, I'm pretty passionate about that one. I gotta tell you, I just see a lot of stuff out there, and I know it's probably not what people want to hear sometimes, but I would say that they will get kind of the straight truth. I've coached at 4 levels. I'm a dad to 2 boys, still learning on the job, and that's all I can say about that. So pretty much it for me, Jim.
Well, listen, we're lucky to have you as a resource. Like I said, I'm very proud to call you a friend, and you've never, schedule providing, you've always been willing to jump on and talk about baseball and lend a hand, just in opinion and thought. And if you don't take an educated person in a field's opinion and at least try to apply it and try to learn something from it, then you're doomed for failure. But you've always been really good about trying to help and trying to do those things. We're proud. Your younger boy Andrew is playing for a Gator 15U a Gator 15U team this year. Happy to have him in the program, see him around the building, carries himself very well. You've done a great job raising your boys. Obviously, I was around Reed a whole lot, and Tyler and he are still good friends to this day. So, it's been a blessing to have you around for sure. And I know you're not going anywhere. And for all of our followers there, they'll see you around the building occasionally, and you're usually pretty busy, but you're also approachable. And if anybody is looking for some advice or anything, if you got the time, you've always been great with your time, and I know we appreciate it very much.
Well, listen, thanks for having me. I appreciate all you guys do to promote youth baseball and high school baseball onward, and it'll be fun watching this summer. I hope this goes away and we can get back to normalcy with our lives. Obviously, there's a lot bigger things in baseball, so I do want to mention that. But I appreciate everything you guys do to make kids better, and the hours you guys put in. They do not go unnoticed. Trust me. It takes a special guy to do that. And so us college coaches are in it right there with you. And we do appreciate, because you do a lot of legwork behind the scenes. And that's the main thing for us. So you guys have a great show, and thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you, Deke. Appreciate it. All right. Darin Hendrickson, like I said, head coach, St. Louis University, been in the area for a long, long time. Obviously, this is his home, and has made it his home. Just a great resource. Jake, a lot of stuff he's talking about. I mean, you went through it. You talked about your dad was a special type of person when it came to this. You didn't feel like you pressure. You didn't do any of these types of things. I've talked to Darin about this ad nauseum, the effect of approaching it correctly as a parent and as a coach, it can make all the difference.
Yeah, I think having the support of your parents, through the process is extremely important. Parents can be extremely helpful to the players, both in their development as well as the recruiting process as that takes place. But no question the parents play a huge part.
Anything you can think off the top of your head, maybe that when you were coming up doing this, that maybe you wish you'd done a little bit different, or do you feel like you kind of checked all your boxes when you were younger, or any regrets?
No, I don't think I have any regrets. I enjoyed it every step of the way. There may be a few decisions throughout my professional career that, I may do differently, but, for the most part, no regrets, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I just, I think we as parents, coaches, trainers, whatever, I highly encourage everybody to remember one thing. You never know, to be quite honest with you, when you're going to make a difference. It might be today, it might be tomorrow. It may have been 2 years ago and you didn't even realize it. The question is, was it a positive one? And I know that, sometimes that stuff starts sounding all rainbow and puppy dog tailing, but the truth of the matter is, yes, let's make no bones about it. And I think Darin did a good job of putting that out there too. Yes, we're here to help kids try to be better baseball players, but gosh darn it, you've got them for a certain amount of time like that, and the way you carry yourself and the way you do your things will also affect them more on the baseball field. We talk about life lessons and how important they are. Can you look, like when you're younger, you don't see that so much, but now you're younger than me, obviously, but can you look back now and realize some of the life lessons that you got from baseball that you didn't even realize were happening?
Yeah, I mean, they're all over the place. They're happening all the time. I think about all the people that impacted my life, through the game of baseball. Growing up, I was fortunate to meet a lot of new people in the game. A lot of people who have made quite the living playing in this game as well. So, think back on that stuff, it's pretty awesome. I think, the biggest thing I learned in baseball is just, how to compete. And that kind of translates to everything you do in life. People may not love to hear it necessarily, but I try to think of, everything in life as a competition. And that's kind of how I go about things. And that's probably the biggest thing I learned.
Well, you've transitioned unbelievably into I enjoy watching you because you're really ate up with becoming, I hate to use the term hitting guru, but but it's become a passion of yours. And it's not so much the guru thing as it is you're hungry to learn. People get in arguments all the time on social media. This is the right way to do this. This is the right way to do this. You kind of stay out of that. I've watched you. You're basically looking at this thing going, okay, what makes a lot of sense here? Like, who's been researching? And I know you follow a lot of good people. I mean, good instructors learn from other instructors, and they feed off one another. So, we're going to go now into I know everybody loves this part of the show. It's time for Coach's Corner. We want to thank Kathy Kylo, local State Farm agent with 18 years of experience in the business. Provides insurance for auto, home, business, condo, life, health, and renters. You can give her a call at 636-561-6460. So please check her out and give her an opportunity for your business. Again, this is one of those locally owned businesses that support us and support the game of baseball. They're looking for support from you now. So we're going to take it over now. You've got a hitting drill here that you've done this week called the 45-degree drill. We're going to look at that drill, and then we'll let you talk about it for a minute. So
All right.
Let's see if I can get my production skills going here, and I don't screw this thing up. All right, here we go.
Hey, guys. Jake DePew, Director of Hitting with GBA here. Thanks again for tuning in to Episode 2 of GBA TV. Today in the Coach's Corner, I'm going to be showing you guys the 45-degree drill. Hope you like it. This is the 45-degree drill. First, you'll take and angle your feet at 45 degrees in the batter's box, pointing your toes roughly toward the second baseman. From there, you're going to counter-rotate into your load position. A couple things to be sure of during this load is that 1, we do it almost in a slow motion pattern where the movement is controlled, and 2, we think about loading into our back hip. and not into our back knee. Once we get to that load position, we're going to take a full swing. The idea here is that we hit a line drive over the second baseman's head. As you'll notice here, I focus on my lead shoulder working up and attacking inside the baseball. You want to make sure you hold that shoulder angle through the turn of the swing, keeping your direction toward right center field. If you find yourself hitting ground balls toward the pull side of the field, chances are your shoulders are working too flat, which is causing your bat angle to work down toward the baseball. Work the lead shoulder up, stay inside the ball, and hit a line drive to right center field.
So you want to talk a little bit about that, maybe some of the things that, that obviously you do a great job of explaining, and that's why I like your videos. You talk about feel, and you talk about a few things. In right now, what we're dealing with for most kids, and let's just be frank about it, kids, high school kids, college, pro, doesn't matter. There's a lot of online stuff going on right now. And guys like you are doing your best to try to stay connected to these kids. But at the same time, what can get lost sometimes is doing it properly. So talk a little bit about the challenge of getting across the feel in these things when you're actually not right there with them.
Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest challenge. I talk a lot about feel, in person. What a kid may be doing in a swing is not necessarily what they're feeling, which is, you can't have that dialogue necessarily with the kid as easy as you can in person. So that's obviously the biggest challenge. But, to speak about that drill a little bit, that one's one that we implemented into, our team trainings, both in Illinois and Missouri. I think, everyone's pretty familiar with it. But I wanted to go back to it just because it's kind of a staple drill for me and the kids I work with. So, there's a handful of things that you can focus on during the drill. Obviously, I don't want you focusing on 10 different things at one time, but, just to kind of throw some things out that you can work on throughout that drill is, for one, I talk about loading. As you're counter rotating it to get to your load position, it's important to get into the back hip. I talk a lot about loading into your back hip and not into your back knee. The hips are significantly more powerful and more explosive in terms of rotation than your knees. So that's extremely important. Some of the other things I've found that kids are really struggling with are direction and shoulder patterning. So, creating that angle with your body kind of helps and forces you to focus on the shoulders and your direction, staying out through the ball. So holding that angle with the shoulders is extremely important, and I've found a lot of kids struggle with that.
All right, Chase Simmons. I know, obviously, when you kind of first got started, you were doing a ton of catching stuff, and you were kind of learning the hitting side of it. Like, obviously, you knew what you were doing, but you were really engulfed with, like, I want to be good at this thing, right? So you did a lot of catching stuff at first. With you focusing now a lot on the hitting portion, we've got some great catching instructors at the Gators. Chase Simmons, good young instructor, does a great job. The kids love Chase. Chase has got one for us this week. Let's take a look. And because we don't want to forget our catchers. I think too many people forget about catchers, right? Like, we always talk about hitting and pitching all the time. Nobody talks about defense.
Right.
I think we've tried to do a great job with our, we've got some great fielding instructors here, but everybody forgets about catchers. So let's see what Chase has for us.
Hey guys, this is Chase Simmons here, catching coordinator with GBA. Hope you guys are being safe during this time. I'm here with Mason Rohr, and we're going to do some catching drills right now. So we're going to go over receiving. So they're plastic. Really going to work on emphasizing just receiving, sticking, and trying to get the ball out there. So here we go. Soft hands, just working down the middle right now. All right, so this is our second drill with no glove. So these past two drills, obviously, you've seen with no glove. So now Mason's going to do, we got a tennis ball. And these are drills at home that you can do. If you're bored and you want to get outside and just throw it against your brick wall, if you got a brick wall or whatever you can find, go ahead, Mason. Just toss them against the wall. You can do this all day. All right, so here we go. We're gonna go no glove receiving with the baseball. Or right now I'm just working down the middle. Once you get a couple of these down pat, as you can see, Mason has soft hands. Receiving, once you get this done, you can do middle, inside, away, low, high, whatever you guys want to do, whatever makes you comfortable. But this is what we're looking for in our GBA catchers. All right, guys, so we're going to do this one. It's no glove still, but we're going to have our ball in hand. As you can see here, he's got his ball right here with the pinky finger and his ring finger, and he's going to emphasize trying to catch his ball with these 3 fingers right here. Again, soft hands. That's what we're working on to give you something to do at home. Poor Mace. Good. So now we're going to go ball and glove. As you can see, I'm working down, I'm working high, I'm working kind of wherever Mace wants me to work right here. Once you get done doing this, as I'm right now, I'm on one knee flipping this. Once you're done with this, you can go right into overhand toss to your catcher.
Good stuff from our man Chase. He does a good job. Obviously, you spent a lot of years behind that dish, squat down there. It's a brutal position, man. I mean, you gotta be willing to take a beating back there. I will say, you do hear this a lot. If you love the game and you want to stay in the game for a while and you want to try to find a place to play, if you can catch and you can catch really well, there's somewhere for you to play.
That's right. Yeah. The longer my career kind of went on, the more I kind of was known as a defensive player. So, I spent a lot of time back there. The majority of my career, I was kind of a second guy, a backup, so to speak. So, I had to be really good defensively, and I spent a lot of time working on that and learning a lot from some really good people. I was fortunate enough to learn from a guy named Paul Hoover, who, in my opinion, is the best catching mind in the game. So.
You got to be pretty smart to be a catcher, Jake. I don't know how that I'm just kidding. I know some catchers. They're awful smart cookies.
I don't know. They call it the tools of ignorance.
But they all make great coaches for some reason,
true.
It seems like. Well, for all of our kids out there and parents, it's that time. Last week we had the contest, and the first 10, we had sent that out. So want to remind you guys, same thing. So we just did some drills there. Chase showed you some catching drills. Jake showed you his hitting drill for this week. You guys, here's how it works this week. That was the inaugural episode. So now what's going to happen is you guys go back into the comment section after the show. Okay, you got time. You don't have to rush out and do it right now. This isn't a first thing. Probably in a few days, once they've stopped coming in, basically everybody that does it, if you've liked this show on this post and you've shared it and you've put in a video of your son or daughter doing the catching drill or the hitting drill, okay, you will be entered into a contest for one of those free online lessons. So right there is your stuff. You guys can see kind of how to do it. Pretty simple to do. A lot of people had a good time with it last week. And you guys, what you have an opportunity to win is an opportunity for one of our online lessons. Jake, that's something that we really started pretty heavily. We've had a lot of people asking about it, right? Like they're at that point now. They feel like maybe this thing's going to kind of turn the corner here soon. They want to get fresh. They've been doing work on their own. They want to get eyes back on them. We talked a little bit earlier about how that can be a little bit difficult. That being said, we are offering now the ability to do so. I'm going to put it up here so people can kind of take a look here. You guys can see that we do have some packages there. Jake, you've been doing some of this stuff already. Talk a little bit about kind of how it works.
Yeah, so, it just so happens that, back in October, we kind of came up with this idea of the virtual hit lab. Which is essentially just online lessons through video analysis. We're fortunate that this has kind of happened. And that we're ready for it. Basically, they send in a video to me, and we analyze it. We send back some drills to kind of work through the deficiencies within their swing or whatever it may be. That's kind of how the virtual hit lab has worked in the past. Now we're offering, kind of through FaceTime or Zoom or, whatever it may be, live lessons. I've been doing a few for a few weeks now.
Not just hitting. We're doing it.
Not just hitting.
You can do anything. We've got instructors that'll hit with you.
Right.
We got catching. We got fielding. Pitching, I know there's a lot of stuff going on with pitching, guys making sure that they're watching them. They're mapping them out. They're making sure they're doing some stuff safely. So I know that's a big part of it. Hitting, let's face it, hitting's always the big thing, right? Like, people are buying nets and they're buying tees and they're going out in their garage or they're going out in the backyard, and they want to make sure that they're, especially a lot of the guys that you worked with and some of our other quality instructors have worked with, they want to make sure that they're continuing those movements. So it's really easy to do. As you guys can see on here, you call Sherry. And we couldn't live without Sherry. She does so much stuff for us. 636-445-0251. You let her know what she wants to do, and she'll get you in contact with the instructor. Pretty simple. You'll talk to them, and you'll kind of figure out the technology piece, which is surprisingly easy. I mean, I'm not a good technology guy, and it's actually pretty easy to do. The price is right, $20, 25 minutes. It's instead of 30, need like a 5-minute transition for technology-wise. So. But you buy 5, you get 1 free, and it really keeps the price down, and it just helps keep some eyeballs on there. So, a lot of our instructors, they're affected by this. They're trying to get a little bit of work in to keep rolling, obviously. And, some people out there may be like, well, I just can't do it right now. If you can't, you can't. But if you can and you want to do it, it's available to you. It's something for you, and we're really proud to offer it. And let's face it, I don't think things will ever go completely back to the way they were. I think people have found, you know what, I can do this. And I think you're going to see this continue. I think even when things go back to quote unquote normal, I think you're going to see more and more people say, you know what, I was driving an hour. I don't mind driving an hour maybe once a week, but why am I doing it 3 times a week if I can do an online lesson? So I think people are going to find that it's pretty good. Are you enjoying doing them? I know they're different. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I mean, I've had 0 issues with it so far. I'm enjoying it. The kids seem to enjoy it. It's kind of nice. You get to work from the comfort of your own home too. So, while it may not be ideal, and maybe the live setting is better, in terms of face to face. But, I'm really enjoying the online lessons so far.
Well, I'm going to get into some of the fun stuff right now. First off, I hope everybody takes advantage of the opportunity for the free online lesson. Like I said, I really enjoyed watching the videos of the kids last week. I was very excited, and it told me we were on the right path. People were putting them up as soon as the show was over. So kids were running out. That tells me they're missing baseball. Like Darin talked about, it tells me they're loving the game of baseball. That's awesome. Hopefully we're back and running soon. This is one of my fun parts. We talk to the actual kids, and kids get nominated, and we know the kids. We see them around the building. We want to highlight them and do some stuff. So we're going to start off with our Gator High School Athlete of the Week, Sam Myers. I had the opportunity to meet Sam this fall. He played on the same team with my son. I was really impressed with him. Obviously, I didn't know who he was, and I remember texting you and like, man, who is this Sam Myers kid? He can really throw it. Really impressive kid. Happy that he's our Athlete of the Week, high school-wise. We want to thank Assurance Protection, security systems, intercoms, phone systems, home theater. They do fire alarms. Ryan Montgomery's son plays for the Gators, supports the Gators, does the advertisement, the whole thing. Again, just asking for an opportunity for your business. 314-236-5910. Give Ryan a call. Hopefully he can help you out if that's something you're looking for. If it's something you're considering, it's worth a phone call. So, I love to do these phone calls. So let's go ahead and get Sam on the line. Some of these kids tell me they feel like big leaguers a little bit.
Sam can be a little goofy, so you never know what's going to happen here.
Really?
Great personality.
Oh boy.
Hi.
Hi. Now you're live right now, so don't come on here thinking, oh, I got a little buffer time. And Jake's already told me that he thinks you're a little goofy. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I agree.
Well, Sam, we want to thank you for being on and want to congratulate you for being our Gators High School Athlete of the Week. I was telling, before you came on, I was telling Jake and our followers here, I didn't know who you were. You played with my son this fall, Logan, and I went out and you come out and pitch, and I'm like, who is this kid? And some people have told me that have been following your career. That was kind of what happened to you. It was like, you were pitching, you were doing good, and things were and then all of a sudden, man, you really ramped up your game, and now you're becoming a guy, and you're looking forward to your future more than ever. Tell us a little bit about that for you, as far as when did that light go off for you, and what exactly did you do to kind of get your game going in that direction?
I think definitely my sophomore year of high school last year. I don't know, just kind of being the guy for our high school team and realizing that the guys kind of looked up to me, and I don't know, just doing whatever I needed to do to win.
Yeah, I thought, watching you play, I thought, competitive guy, talented. You went out and, and I could tell you had that desire. Jake, you've been around him a little bit. Talk about him a little bit as a player, what you see.
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to coach Sam 2 summers ago after his freshman year of high school. And, Sam was kind of the guy we went to on our team, when we needed a win on Sunday. I'd say at least 9 times out of 10, Sam got the job done. He was one of those guys you couldn't get the ball from. He never wanted to come out of the game, and he competed his butt off.
I'm seeing some quotes come in. I mean, you are famous, obviously. I'm seeing things like you have great hair, and people want you to talk about how good of a hitter you think you are.
Oh my gosh! If you see me in BP, I'm just roping them left and right.
That's awesome. They 5 o'clock warriors, they call those guys. I think that's good stuff.
Hey, let me tell a story about Sam here. We were in Grand Park playing the Cangelosi Sparks, and Stetson Marion got down a huge bunt to bring Sam to the plate. Sam's hitting last in our lineup, mind you. Sam gets a 47 hopper base hit up the middle and drives in 2 runs to take the lead. It was huge.
A 47 hopper?
Yeah.
Are we sure it was 47? But it went. Hey, all that matters is it went through, right?
Hey, got through.
That's right.
That's right. So, Sam, one of the things I want you to talk a little bit about is you've been working out at the P3 building with the guys over there. Talk a little bit about P3 and the role that it's played in your development.
I think they've been huge in my development. I mean, just the environment over there. I thrive off of other people and competitiveness. And I think seeing all the older guys in there that are, 2 more years down the road than you are, kind of already on their college journey. I don't know, just for me, it kind of makes me want to work harder.
Yeah, that's what I've always taken from that environment is when you go in there, guys aren't, no disrespect to anything else, but guys aren't in there messing around. They're in there working. Now they're having fun while they're doing it, but man, there's a lot of sweating going on in there, a lot of grunting, a lot of learning, which I think is great. A lot of example. I know one of the things that I think you were kind of alluding to that I've seen in there is a lot of the older guys and the pro guys that are over there. They have no problem being a mentor to a younger guy like yourself. And if you have aspirations and dreams, you better watch the guys that are doing it at the highest level because that's what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen.
I look at it as...
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
They're where I want to be. They're just a few more years down the road where I am, or than I am. They already been through college and they went through high school. So, yeah, I just try and be like them.
Usually with the younger guys, I'll put them on the spot and say, who was their favorite trainer over the winter? I guess when you guys are at your age, that's probably not a good thing, is it? I think but I mean, if you want to throw a shout out to whoever your favorite guy to work with in the program is, you can if you'd like. It's really up to you.
I don't want to do that.
Well, listen, I know Logan and you are going to be playing together this summer, so I'm going to get to watch you pitch some more. I'm really excited about that, and I wish you luck. I know you want to play in college, and I know you're starting to look at that and see how that looks for you and where you're going to wind up being. But wherever it is, I know you're going to do really well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, my man, Sam Myers. That's good stuff, man.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Hey,
See you, Sam.
Yeah, that's good. See, I love that stuff, man. Like talking to these young kids, so they do a good job. Going to take it now to our Missouri Gator Youth Athlete of the Week. It's Bryce Williams. I want to thank Dana Carver with Midwest Land Group Broker, and he's also an agent. He'll help you find land, whether it's for outdoor sports, for like hunting, if you need to do farming, some residential living, or just a getaway destination. One of the most genuine guys you'll ever meet. He also has a son, Bradley, I believe, that plays for one of our 8U teams. Another guy, part of the program that supports the kids. Give him a call, 636-346-1593. Just like to have the opportunity to earn your business. That's Dane Carver. And, of course, we're going to welcome in now, give a call to Bryce Williams. Now, Bryce, I think, might play. Did he play for Craddock?
He does, yes.
I think he does play for Craddock. Maybe we can get some dirt on Craddock.
Hello.
Bryce.
Yep.
Welcome to Gators TV.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you're our Missouri Gator Youth Athlete of the Week. I want to talk to you a little bit about your Gators experience so far. Can you confirm or deny that you do play for Chris Craddock?
I can confirm.
You can
I do play for
confirm.
Chris.
All right. Well, he was on last week, the El Presidente, but now he's not on the show this week, and it's just myself and Jake DePew sitting here. You can say whatever you want about Chris. What would you like to say?
He's a great coach.
Oh, my Lord, he's trying to move up in the batting order. Where do you bat in the order, son?
I don't know. My first season on the team.
Oh, yeah. Oh, even better. Okay. No, I'm just kidding, but go ahead.
He's a great coach, loves to develop his players, and yeah.
Good stuff. So this is your first year. Did you have an opportunity to do the off-season training?
Yes.
What'd you like most about it?
I like the most about the all-season training is how it was structured, and we had like a development plan going.
Yeah, that's good. We appreciate. I know Jake's sitting over here going, man, I'm glad you appreciate that because there's a lot that goes into that. So that's good. We call it organized chaos around here.
Yeah.
So how long you been playing baseball?
Ever since I was like 6-ish.
Yeah. When did you decide that this was going to be it for you? You play other sports too?
Yeah, I play football.
All right. So which one you like better? I guess since this is a baseball show, we're going to go with it right now.
Baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah, baseball.
All right. I think football, great second sport for baseball. I just teaches you toughness and all that kind of stuff. I'm good with it either way. Where are you going to go to high school?
Wright City.
Okay. What's you wanting to play in college? Is that where you want to take this thing? Take it all the way?
I won't take it all the way.
All the way. I love it. What positions you play?
Catcher.
Catcher. Jake, we got ourselves a catcher here. So, have you been watching the show?
Yep.
What'd you think of the drills from Chase Simmons? Am I going to see a video of you on here trying to win an online lesson, doing some drills?
Hopefully.
All right. I do want to see that. Well, listen, man, I really appreciate you being with us. We now have a mole on the inside of Chris's team. So what we're looking for you is any dirt, any videos, anything you can get us for Chris that we can kind of hold over his head. Do you understand what that means?
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. All right. Well, listen, Bryce, you have yourself a great season. I look forward to seeing you progress through the program, and good luck on the field.
All right. Thank you.
All right. That is Bryce Williams. Nice young guy there. He knew what he was doing. He's like, the parents had to help him there a little bit. Like, listen, when you want to bat up on this team, you better get moving here. I want to take it over now to our Illinois Youth Gator Player of the Week, and I want to thank American Home Lending USA, courtesy of our friend Carl Clayton. I know you know Carl. You had a son, Colin, that was quite a player in the area for a long time. He's at Missouri State right now. Carl's been in the mortgage game for a long time. Carl's going to be putting together a program for our whole organization that you guys can use as a fundraiser for something that we all do all the time, refinance, buy homes, do home ec, all that kind of stuff. So there'll be an opportunity for people to utilize that through our nonprofit so that they can help maybe offset some fees a little bit. So there's good stuff going to be happening out there with Carl and his great group over there at American Home Lending USA. I look forward to Carl being able to come on. He's going to come on the show and talk a little bit about it after we get everything finalized. We got to make sure everything's on the up and up, but Carl's putting this program together. But for now, give him a call, 314-749-4649 with rates where they are. And, there's all this stuff going on. You guys can get a great deal. So want to thank him and his involvement. And this young gentleman, this guy, pretty impressive kid. I've been seeing him for a while. And, I don't talk to Jake very much about young guys, and his eyes glow like they do when we talk about this. Joe, you there?
Yeah.
How are you, buddy?
Good.
I might have your biggest fan sitting next to me over here, Jake DePew. What do you think of that?
That's cool.
Well, that's cool. Hey, you like that? That's cool, man. That's cool. No, seriously, I want to thank you for being our Illinois Gator Youth Athlete of the Week. You play with a great bunch of kids. I know your coach very well, Brian Curry, and obviously I'm good friends with your dad. I've watched you play now for a few years, and you've always been a really good player. But I got to tell you, being in the position I'm in now, the thing that's been really awesome is seeing you come in the building every day and how hard you work. Has baseball always been your passion? I know you play other sports, but when did you realize that baseball is something you really wanted to do?
I've been playing baseball since I was like 4, and I really liked it. I've always wanted to work harder and harder to succeed more. And about 2 years ago, I really wanted to start working more. But in order to work harder, I played other sports so I could keep my body in shape for baseball.
you're one of the younger kids. I mean, you're a 13U player, but you're put together pretty good. I know for a fact that you take care of your body. You've picked up at a younger age that if you're going to do this, you've got to get your body ready to do this. How big of a part would you say the working out is to your progress in baseball?
I work out twice a week with I have a trainer. He is close to Sports Barn. His name is EJ, and he makes me work my butt off. And all I know is that the hard work will pay off one day.
Yeah, that's our friend EJ Jones over at Next Level. I know EJ pretty darn well. He's done a lot of stuff with baseball players in our area, and we talk about it in the building all the time. That component of training is becoming more and more important, and that's why we've tried to add more and more to it, to what we're doing throughout the whole program. So I'm really happy to hear you say that. I watched you be able to take advantage of something that Jake did with some of our middle school hitters. Now, you've been hitting in our building all winter. I've watched you hit with different people. Talk a little bit about your experience hitting with Jake.
Jake's a really good coach. He has the knowledge to like if you're doing something wrong, he has a drill to help you with that, and he thinks on a higher level of things where he can break it down to where you can understand it, depending on how your IQ is on baseball.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that's one of his things. Obviously he's sitting over here, but I will toot his horn a little bit. I think he does do a great job of being able to relate to you younger guys and make it so that you understand what he's saying. This was your first year, obviously, being a Gator. What was your favorite part of the off-season training?
I like hitting because I've never really done much of these drills, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better than I was last year.
Well, that's great stuff, man. So, like I said, I know your dad and I know your coach. You're very lucky to have those guys around you every day, and it looks like you guys are going to have a really good team. It's nice when I do the Illinois one. Obviously, I can talk a little more about it because I see them. I know the Missouri guys are all quality guys too, but fortunately with the Illinois thing, I see it almost on a daily basis, and I've been really excited about watching your progress ever since I first saw you play. I knew you were going to be an awfully good player that time. And like I said, you got a nice team. I know you're looking forward to the season. Hopefully we can get you back out on the field soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, my friend, you take care, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, my friend and yours, Joseph Chiaroto, our Illinois Gator Youth Player of the Week. He is special.
It's pretty good stuff right there.
Yeah, I was going to say, all these kids, I know Chris Craddock had sent in something about Bryce, sent in on Facebook that he's a huge addition to his team, and that's pretty good because Chris has got an awful good team. So if he's saying that Bryce is a huge addition to that team, he's obviously going to help him. Looks like he's put together pretty good.
Yeah, I've seen him, work in the barn a little bit. He's pretty impressive behind the plate.
There he is, right there. Looks like a catcher. And I apologize to all of our. I apologize to all of them. I got too busy talking and didn't put their pictures up here, and I left Jake's mug up there, but that's okay. But this is Bryce here, and we do want to thank him for being our Missouri Player of the Week. Let's see. That was Darin. There's Joseph right there. Joseph Chiaroto, good player. Put together, man, for a kid his age, no doubt about it. And, of course, everyone's favorite comedian, Sam Myers, the hitting guru. So great stuff from those guys. We appreciate it very much. Jake, enjoyed having you on this week. I hope, I do want to say again, too, we talked a little bit about the flyer with the hitting stuff on it for online hitting. Take advantage of it, guys. The instructors are kind of sitting around. We're working on other things as well, but they really enjoy doing the lessons and, doing them one-on-one in that type of setting. I think you'll get more out of it than you probably, let's face it. Some people think, I don't know, do I really want to do this?
Yeah, I'd say, just get your feet wet with it and try it out and see if you like it. Nobody's forcing you to stick with it. So, I'd say a lot of people are probably hesitant to start it right now, but give it a try, and I promise you'll like what you get.
We got that going on. Don't forget the contest. That's the fun thing here. The drills that we did earlier, your hitting drill, Chase's catching drills. Get them onto the comment section. Make sure you've liked and shared the post, okay? Even if you haven't done it yet, you can still do it because there's going to be tons of people that watch this that didn't watch it live, which is completely fine. So don't forget, make sure you've liked, commented, and shared the post. And when you comment, you definitely put that picture in there, or not the picture, the video, so that we can see the kids doing the drills, okay? And then all of them will go into a hat, and we'll pick one out every week, and you guys will get that free on. But just keep them coming, okay? And we encourage everybody to do them as many times as you want. Share with us, and we'll have some fun with this. And for all of those youth players that are our player of the week, we obviously have a ton of people in the program. If you want to send us something in, you can. If you want to nominate somebody, please do. You can do it through the comment section. You can do it through our messaging. Any of the instructors, we love to hear that from you guys. If you want to, if you would like to nominate somebody on your team, if you're a coach, please do so. We want to highlight the kids that work hard, the kids that play the game at a good level, but we also want to highlight the kids that are great kids, that love the game. They're good people. Like this is what this is all about. So please do so. But looking forward to seeing all that stuff as well. I want to thank our owners before we go, no doubt about it. Joe Lopez, Steve Marion, Chris Craddock, they supply so much for us to try to do this stuff, and doing the Gator TV is just another example of them giving us the resources to try to give you guys what you need. They listen. I will say that, no doubt about it. I can't say enough about being able to go to owners and say, look, I need this, I need that. And, you don't get that. No. Okay, well, what do you need it for? Let's figure out what it is. And if it makes sense, they're going to do it. I mean, obviously within reason. But I appreciate all three of those guys. You've obviously been around them now, and I know you've said that, this has been a dream come true for you.
Yeah, absolutely. To kind of speak to, asking the owners for things and things that we need. And, obviously on the hitting side, there's a ton of technology, that's kind of crept into the game over the last, X amount of years. And, we've been fortunate enough to use blast motion over the last off season here. So, that, and, we plan on implementing some more as we go. So, K-Vest is a big one we want next year. So, they never think twice about that stuff, and kind of get us what we need to help develop the players.
Well, this is going to be an interesting summer for everybody out there as we continue to grow as an organization. If you know somebody that wants to be a part of our organization, whether it's a whole team that wants to come in, or we have some kids that want to try out in different scenarios, please get them in contact with us. We'd be happy to talk to them. You guys out there, without question, are our best resource and our best referral program. We try to instill and implement things both in coaches and in players that we want other people to look at that and say, that's what I want. So no doubt about it, you guys are our walking billboards, both, on the field and off the field, just as important. So please let us know if there's something we can help somebody with. We will continue to do these shows. It's something we're going to continue to do forever. But obviously with this going on and people just craving something to do with baseball, these shows should be pretty good. Next week, I want to let you guys know that my idea for next week, one of the things I want to cover is dads coaching their kids. I'm going to have a friend of mine, I mentioned him earlier, Brian Curry, is going to come in studio. He coaches one of our 13U teams over here. Brian coached in high school and has now coached his kid. He's got multiple kids that he coaches. It's not an easy job. I did it with both kids. Make a lot of mistakes. It seems like you make a whole lot more mistakes doing it when it's your kids. But everybody out there does it. I'll have a panel of people that will be calling through the show just talking about, giving some advice. Because let's face it, if it's a youth team, I would say 99.9% of the time somebody on that team has a son playing or a daughter. And it's not easy. Everybody thinks, you hear daddy ball, you hear that a lot. But let me assure you, it's not as easy as you think to coach your own kid. It goes both ways. So I'm looking forward to doing that episode next week. We'll have some more experts on that talk about some of the other things that are involved in the game. Looking forward to that. But for all of us here at GBA TV, I want to thank you guys for joining us, and let's let Mr. Freeze take us home.